His name is Toni Frio. He's a creative director, a former hooper, a music producer, a DJ, a voice actor, and so much more. And I'm so excited to be having you on this.
Hey, okay. Hey, I was in that thuggin' and I was out there by my lonely. I don't know about doggy, he ain't cool with me.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Winning Strategy. And today I have a very special guest. I'm so excited for him to be joining us. And today I'm an intern for Are They Hooping, an app where you can see who's hooping, watch who's hooping, and see who's playing. And this app resonates with me because I am a former hooper, so I can just go on the app and see who's playing. I can go and, play pickup and, play my game. So I'm very excited to have a guest here, and he is actually one of the musical guests that is featured on the Are They Hooping app. His name is Toni Frio. How are you doing?
Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. And salute to Are They Hooping. Salute to Kiera and salute to Kendall, my boy, and Ron for sure. They're dope. This platform is awesome. And there's always, as hoopers, we always have those moments, those questions like where do I go find the open run? So they credit to them. They figured out the solution, and it's one of the dopest apps I know, honestly.
For sure. And I thank you so much for supporting it. So before we hop into the interview, I want to start off with the trivia. So this is something that I do before every interview just to get my interview warmed up a little bit. And I'm actually going to ask you a trivia question about yourself, and then a random sports trivia question. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So the first one is, which one of these songs is not a part of your Infused Brunch Deluxe? Is it A, TSA, B, Grand Rising Interlude, C, Mimosa, or D, Seconds Please?
It was the first one. It was PSA. Yeah, that's
yes.
not.
Yes, that's actually a part of your album called Before the Flight. Yes. Okay, you know. And this next trivia question is actually going to be Are They Hooping trivia question. It's going to be a sports question, so I just want to test your basketball knowledge a little bit.
For the last question, I thought you said PSA, but I just peeped what you said. You said TSA. Okay, yeah. that was a title of Before the Flight.
Yeah.
Bet.
So this next question is, what was Dennis Rodman's highest scoring rebounding game? Was it A, 22, B, 27, C, 34, or D, 28?
D, 34.
Correct. Okay. Yes. And he actually had 34 rebounds in this game versus the Pacers. That was on March 4th, 1922. So, okay, ball. But now I just want to hop right into it. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. So first, I just want to start off with music in general. And I want to start off with, how did you get your start in music?
How did I start to music?
How did you get your start?
So honestly, I was always around music. Just being a hooper, that was something that got me in my zone. Also shout out to my family. They always had good music just playing. So just me being the youngest out of my family, I was just naturally just picking up on good music. Now how I got into it was actually after I stopped playing basketball. I had knee surgery, and at that point, I decided, let me just. It's been a lot. It was tough on me. Let me just go ahead and try to get my degree. I could have went to go play somewhere else. I went to the University of Alabama. I could have went to go play somewhere else, but I was just like, man, I just want to. I really don't feel like I have an identity outside of playing basketball at that point, So I was just like, let me just test to see how it is, like without basketball for once, and that's what I ended up doing. And I ended up getting into a school radio station. With shout out to my boy Chris. One thing led to another, and eventually we didn't have like the creative direction that we wanted to go, you know, that we wanted to have, honestly, being on the school radio station. So we ended up just doing our own thing and doing a podcast. And one thing led to another. We started recording off of GarageBand, and eventually I got to a point where I'm like, shoot, like I know people make beats off of GarageBand. Why don't I just try to make beats off of it? Because I always like the production side of music more than the lyrics, honestly. Like I like everything that all comes together. You know, everything that creates the song, the process from the very beginning to the end. But something about just how the sonics and the frequency sounded with like the instrumentation and you know, jazz and different hip hop and stuff like that. Like I started to get into. I feel like the first person who got me into rap was Lil Wayne, listening to like No Ceilings and Carter 3. And so after that, it was just like, damn, like I wanted to start making music myself, start making beats, because I was never into like being a rapper or nothing like that. But I love music, and you know, no shade at anything to rappers, but it's just not me. It's just I like creating the sound and the vibe. So one thing after another, and eventually my friends would pull up to my dorm and stuff, and they would start rapping on my beats, and that's how I tested to see which ones were good and which ones were not. So even before I started actually to present my beats to people out in the world, like to artists, like to want to purchase my beats and stuff, I already have my friends like just telling me, "Oh, this one's fire. This one, you know, I don't really like this one," but that's just kind of how that happened.
I love that too. And actually, Lil Wayne is one of my favorite rappers of all time. So that's amazing. Carter 3, Carter 4, even from Carter 1, he's been that guy. So I love that.
Oh,
So my next question is: can you remember when you created your first piece of music art? And if so, what was it?
yeah, I remember. Shout out to my boy Ray, Iceberg 30. Um, so I just like, this is actually when I was just like, this is before I really even got into GarageBand, but I had the idea, let me start trying to make beats or whatever. It was before I got my own software to make it, but essentially I pulled up to my boy Ray's crib, and he was ready on FL Studio, and I remember just trying to I got like the free trial of FL, and with the free trial of FL, you can't save the beat, so you literally gotta make the beat there, and if you can export it and bounce it out, but you better like it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I was a beginner, so it was just like, it was trash. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't really build on it or anything. So, but it was cool to be able to create a little rhythm, whatever. But yeah, that was just like my first production, and just sounded so bad. Like
I love that. Yeah. And seeing how it was now, from where you are now to when you first did it, of course it's going to be terrible to you in your eyes, but just with you trying it out for the first time and trying to experiment with your sound, that shows a lot. So, who were your musical influences growing up, whether now or growing up?
Now we're growing up, man. That's tough. I mean, there's so many. I would say like, shout out to the Neptunes. Definitely shout out to Alchemist. Obviously Lil Wayne, Kendrick. Kendrick's probably my favorite artist of all time. You got to give it to Cole. You got to give it to Drake. I'm Team Kendrick, but you gotta give respect.
Yeah, you respect where it's due.
Yeah, a lot of the influence that was out in the Northeast in New York and LA, and then obviously Texas. I'm from Texas, so just being someone that was in the central United States, we were getting a little bit of everything, but we got our own flavor as well. So just name all the Texas artists, you already know the scene. So
yeah,
so we just grow into our own. Like it's something different about people in Texas. Like Texas has like some really dope artists that just are straight up, especially out of Houston too. So
for sure.
I'm from Dallas, but still, like Houston for sure doesn't get enough credit for the mainstream artists that it's produced. So a lot of those artists, Travis Scott, like he just dropped re-released Rodeo days before Rodeo. Like I just have that on repeat like all the time, and almost like it just released yesterday. So shout out to Texas artists too.
And I love that you have a variety of different artists. It's not just one person of the same genre. So I love that. So next I want to get into some of your soundtracks that are actually on the Are They Hooping app. And one of them is called We Don't Compare. So for a second, I'm just going to play a clip of the song just so people that are watching or people that will watch can hear a little bit of the song. And then I want you to tell me the background behind the song.
Okay, cool.
I actually listened to it before this interview, and it's really good.
Thank you.
My only focus is taking what's mine. Ain't trying to share. Some niggas started way up at the top. I took the stairs. Patiently waited, I had to prepare. Now I'm over prepared. I got a lot of them scared. We don't compare. We don't compare. My only focus is taking what's mine. Ain't trying to share. Some niggas started way up at the top. I took the stairs. Patiently waited, I had to prepare. Now I'm over prepared. I got a lot of them scared. It's a whole lot of y'all phony. Song by my lonely. Or I'm with the homies. Rappers in the game getting played like Sony. Rapping about the money that they really can't show me. These niggas Hollywood actors. A lot of entertainment. Selling so shameless just to get famous. Move to the...
Okay, so that's all I'm gonna play, but that's a great song in my opinion.
Thank you.
And what I took from that song is it's about just focusing on what you believe in and about self-determination and self-focus. So, like I said, what was the inspiration behind that project?
Yeah, so a lot of my tracks actually, they're not like, if they say Toni Frio, it's a lot of the times it's me getting a group of artists that I'm hosting the project and coming up with the concept, and I feature them on there, but I'm making the beats. So with that, I wasn't rapping, but that was my boy Step. And Step, man, shout out to Step. He's actually from Texas. I've known him since like third grade, but now he moves. He's lived in New York for years, like. And so when I moved out here, we just connected already, and we already like our pops are cool. So you know what I'm saying, we already been in contact, and essentially we recorded this like, I want to say we recorded this like 2019.
Wow.
Like, yeah, and me and him have so many unreleased songs at this point, and we're just trying to craft the best project we can, and it's gonna be called Full Circle, because everything's full circle. Like as kids, we were playing basketball together in AAU, and now I'm making beats for him, and bro's dope. He's dope as fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we have so many tracks that we just that we have unreleased are honestly just fire. They could be an album itself, but we're still working. So that's just that's how that, you know, the whole process and the relationship. But the concept behind that is, like you said, like you're in your own lane. Like there's no point in competing against the next person. You know, where the biggest thing is you should be competing against yourself. That's how I look at it. Like you should be trying to grow at every project, everything you do. So that's all that is. Like, bro, he's pretty much saying he doesn't see the competition.
Yeah,
It's like
like the only competition you see in the mirror, the person that you're looking at,
yeah.
right in front of you. That was a great message overall. And then another song that's also featured on the app that's produced by you it's called Lifted Weekends off your Infused Brunch Deluxe. So if you could also give me a little bit of background off that track and how that came about.
Yeah, Weekends. Shout out to Anaya. Anaya, she's from Houston actually, and I met her through the Afrobeats radio station. And yeah, she's super dope. She actually moved out to LA. She's doing her thing. Like don't be surprised you hear her name Anaya. It's with 3 eyes too. She makes sure she corrects me on that too every time. Like, or any other artist like who puts like 2 eyes or 1 eye is like, but she's dope. Like as it should be. You know, it's like the whole thing with Giannis. Like I had to learn how to say his last name. Like,
Yeah.
You know, you better get it. Like that's the type of artist she is. But essentially, with Lifted Weekends, we got a compilation of different artists and stuff like that. We recorded in Houston. And shout out to my boy Jay Garcia. Me and him are Infused Brunch. We're a band and a brand that we host different brunches. Mm-hmm. And he's a guitarist in it. And he pulled up to the studio and laid down the guitar to the beat that I already had produced. And then she pulled up to the studio and laid down her vocal. And then, you know, the rest was history.
Wow. I love that. And since you touched on Infused Brunch and also RLTY, I want to get into that a little bit. I know that it's a band blend of live music, art, and fashion, and it was created by you and 2 other of your friends. So I just wanted to know, like, how did that come about, and how did you guys figure out how to create this brand?
So it was honestly just straight up, just like I want to say it was almost luck, like how the whole thing came to be. Like it's pretty crazy, but essentially I've known Nottaware for years too. Um, he was living in Atlanta, and because my pops he was in sales and military, we moved around a lot. So I lived in Texas, New Jersey, slash he lived in Harlem, and we moved from Texas to New Jersey because of that, and then moved from New Jersey to Atlanta. That's where I went to high school. So whenever I went to Alabama, I would just go back and forth to when my family was living in Atlanta at the time. They're now back in Texas, but that at that time that was where I was living in the region. Alabama, Georgia. So he was at Georgia Tech, and I would go back. I've known him since high school, and in college I would go, and this is when I was actually trying to figure out how to make beats. I was experimenting and stuff with my sound, but he was already on Logic. So he's the one. Shout out to Nottaware. He's the one who got me on Logic, and that's what my primary DAW that I use now. My primary software is Logic, and I just remember the early days. And bro's been talented for like since I remember. Like honestly, like he's been super dope.
Yeah.
And eventually, it was just like we just kept working, and there's so many good things just kept happening. It's like we need to just keep working. We need to put something together.
Yeah.
And then that's how that happened. We were just naturally just working. We never were like a group or nothing for that. But then it was like I moved to Houston after college, and due to like mutual relationships and stuff like that, I met Jay Garcia. And Jay Garcia, we had a huge event, and I already knew Nottaware, and Nottaware was the artist that performed.
Okay.
Bro, I think that he would be a cool addition, because at this point, me and Jay Garcia already like infused brunch, like we're locked in.
Y'all already started the whole.
Yeah, we're super locked in, and that was random. I didn't even know he made music, and until one day we just like, yo, it's like you produce, you do all this shit, whatever. And then fast forward, we had an event in Houston. It's called A Really Good Show, and the people from LA, our boys Deuce Stacks and Corey Nash, they helped us bring California to Texas to Houston, and we had a huge show.
Wow.
And performs, and that's how you met Jay Garcia. I was like, bro, I think he'd be a good addition. Like, he's a dope producer. Yeah, he's a recording artist, but he's a producer too. And so all three of us are producers. We all just bring different things to the table. And so eventually he was like, whoa, like he was like, yeah, he's talented. So
Yeah.
then them two had clicks ever since. Like them two are like super buddies. Like it's funny. Like it's cool to be able to introduce them together and then be cool now.
Yeah.
And so, all three of us we met in numerous cities, just South by Southwest, doing our thing, linking with artists, producing and stuff like that. So it's been awesome, man. Shout out to those guys. They're dope.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you guys ended up coming together, because the product and just the effect that you guys have made with this whole Renaissance of the Youth has just been a great thing overall. So my next question is, what is one of the biggest challenges that you've had to face since working with Renaissance of the Youth?
Oh man, I would just say being in three different areas at the same time, like with three different regions. It was easier when me, Jay Garcia, and Fuse Brunch. It was easier when we were together in Texas and Houston. But life takes you different places, and I mean, everyone already knew I was going to move to New York. It's like I've been always back and forth, but it's just a matter of when. But we were able to get a lot better, and now we just do like I was saying, quarterly meetups where we have these brunches, and from there we pretty much work remote. Like we have our Google Drives going, and we just share everything, and then we do FaceTimes, like we do meetings and stuff like that. We got the project management, software going, the Trello, like we got all this stuff that we're organizing as if it is a professional business, which it is. So that was definitely the biggest challenge, and I feel like we got a better hang of it now. But that's definitely has been the biggest challenge. Is Nottaware is in Atlanta, I'm in New York now, and Jay Garcia is in Houston.
Yeah, rep Houston, H-Town. So I want to talk about Munchies on a Flight. So I noticed that I love the concept, first of all, of the cover art. It's amazing. So who made that cover art?
So with the cover, it was actually a mix. It was a collaboration. So like the image itself, I was able to like help pretty much formulate the image of like like the plane and the dinner and stuff like that, like the brunch, and then the font and everything was Do Stacks.
Okay. I love it. And then what was the concept behind that whole project as well?
So
Because I know that whole album was produced by Rookie of the Year. I'm sorry, Renaissance of the Youth.
yeah, the whole album, the whole project was produced by me and Jay Garcia and Fuse Brunch.
Yeah.
But Not a Word being a recording artist, he rapped on it. So we all Rody was Rody was the whole like, but the production was me and Jay Garcia and Fuse Brunch, and then the artists were Not a Word from Rody as well, and Do Stacks. Do Stacks is in LA. He has his own thing, so it was their collaboration tape produced by Infuse Brunch.
Yeah. Okay, and what is your favorite soundtrack or track off that
I like
album?
I,
That's a two.
I like Call It Off. I like Call It Off on there because that beat was like, I made that in like 2019, 2018 or something like that, and it just like it was dope because I uploaded a whole bunch of beats and stuff like that, and that was just like one of the ones that stood out, and then I was like, hey, like I always thought that beat was good. I always thought that beat was good. I just wanted to make sure it was used in the right term, the right I guess occasion, and that was a perfect time. And no, I really like that track, and the whole thing pretty much started because I was making instrumental tapes that were themed off of just like airports and stuff like that, and airplanes and all type of stuff like that, different flights, because I pretty much I would just get different soundtracks and different I don't know, just get different sound bites and different things that would influence me, and different literally like sounds from airports and different things, and just put it together just to create the almost a cinematic experience like you're in an airport, or so eventually that expanded to the idea of Munchies on a Flight, because me and Fuse Brunch and Jay Garcia, we created Infused Brunch. So it's just like merging the two ideas together, which is just Munchies on the Flight. It's sticking with the food theme, but this time we're in the air with it.
I love that. That was a great concept. I loved it. And so I want to talk about DJing, because I know that's something that you do and something that you love to do. And also you've had many different live performances that you DJ'd at as well. So how would you describe your DJing style or your sound?
It's kind of all over the place. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like it's all over the place.
Okay.
But like I would say in a good way though, because if I have like a 3-hour set, you might catch 1 hour where it's just like I'm playing some R&B or some like Afro beats or something like that, and then the next, like in the middle of it, I might be playing some like some contemporary like indie or some really like chill stuff, or like even some jazzy. I might mix it with jazz, and then at the end I might try to hit you with some like trap, like some hardcore trap or like bangers and stuff. So I'll switch it. I lift it up like the whole time. But really, it's all about just trying to feel the crowd though, at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that was actually went to my next question. How do you engage with the crowd? Like, is there a certain song that you play that gets the crowd lit, or like how do you know when the crowd is going to be the most engaging for you?
I try to stay up to date with like what's hot and what's not and stuff like that. So like I kind of already know based on people's reaction that they probably already heard the song, or they might be hearing it soon. So let me try to beat someone to next DJ to play this shit, so people hear it and they're like, oh dang, I did hear that. Like that's my goal. And then on top of that, play like classics and like different stuff that was underappreciated on classic albums, or stuff like that. So like honestly I don't really play like a lot of the straight up mainstream single or bangers. I might mix them in there, but I like to play the ones that are like that people almost didn't know they needed to hear at that time.
Yeah, for sure. Might catch someone's ear and they're like, oh, I haven't heard this in a while.
Yeah. Or dang, like what is this? Because it's new or whatever, and then Shazamming it and stuff like that. Or dang, like this was just off that new album that I only heard the single off of. Now I like this song too. So try to make sure I just give people their own experience when they go home that they can take away with.
For sure. And what is your favorite place that you travel to while DJing, if you had to choose?
My favorite place to DJ, I would say LA was really fun, but I would say New York has been fun. Like just me being here in general DJing, because people are really upfront here too. So it's like if your set is trash, they'll let you know. Like especially if they hired, yeah, yeah, if they hired you and your trash, your set was trash, then you know it's like you'll know. So it's
Yeah.
like to be able to get really to get a lot of good feedback and to make people invite me back and stuff like that. It's definitely a good feeling, and I feel like I can grow from here to hopefully expand. I want to DJ somewhere overseas for sure.
Overseas.
That's definitely a
Is
bucket
that
list.
something that you haven't done that you hope to do in the future?
For sure. I definitely want to do that. Like even if it's like shit, Mexico or Canada. Like
Yeah.
I know they're right there. Just DJing internationally would be awesome. And then overseas, like somewhere in Europe or Africa. Just in general, I just want to just keep expanding it, and it would be dope to expand
Yeah.
live set internationally for sure.
For sure. Yeah, that'll be a great way to expand your brand, your name, and everything like that. So, but going back to New York and the tough crowds, have you ever had a altercation or an interaction where someone has told you that your set was bad,
Uh,
or is
uh,
it something that you kind of fill out?
no, it was more of it was just more of just like I guess that person was feeling the pressure of the exact moment, and they kind of went off on me. They didn't go off on me, but they're like I don't know, play Biggie or something, give him the dance, and like because it was a birthday party, and shout out to that person who invited me. It's like it was nothing. It was at the end of the day, they were all happy, they enjoyed it, but it was just like that was like the one moment where I was like, dang, like because that was probably my first set in New York, and I had two sets that day, and that was like the first dosage of me figuring out how people are and how they take the craft of DJing. And I already knew it was like, yo, you don't want to play around like out here for sure. This is like where it was like this is like the the birth of DJing. I feel like if hip hop is out
Yeah.
here. So um, she gave me a playlist, and it was like it was a '90s theme birthday party, and I was playing. It was the beginning. I was playing. Trying to warm it up because I had like hours of the DJ set, and so I was like playing. Like I guess R&B and stuff, and people were over there just like chilling and stuff. They were like they're stoned. They were like stoned and shit.
Oh
I'm
my.
playing like this R&B and like this chill stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was her birthday, so she's like, I don't know, play some Biggie or something, like get people to.
Oh my goodness.
I got you. And then I just turned up after that. It's like
Yeah.
it's nothing you want to take. You just take it at face value, and just nothing you want to take to heart. Because at the end of the day, you got to finish it out. Like it's only gonna get worse. If I would have got my feelings and got my head about it, then trust me, the set would have been terrible. But the fact that I just brushed it off and was like, you know what? It's like, I mean, that's just my cue to turn it up. It's like we only an hour in, but let me just go crazy now, finish it out. So
Yeah. So now I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about basketball. So I read in one of your articles that you actually started off as an athlete before you even got into the music realm, the music world. So what is one of your favorite moments growing up playing basketball? It could be a moment where you're just playing pickup basketball with your friends or actually in game, off the court. So if you could think of one moment that sticks with you, what would it be?
just like when any type of basketball moment essentially that sticks out to me. Dang, that's crazy. That's a that's man. There's so many. There's too many. I would say the funniest moments honestly was when I was like super young,
Mhm.
and I'd be at the court and I would hustle older people.
Wait, you were what?
I would hustle older people like
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
I'm proud of it, but it was funny. Like it was, what I mean. At the end of the day, it was like it's because they were like older. So I want to say like I was like in eighth grade playing against like seniors in high school and like betting them money, like betting 3-on-3 with my friends and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
we'll beat you in a 3-on-3, or I'll beat you in a 1v1. Like bet, pretty much just like betting like stupid stuff like cheeseburger at McDonald's and shit like, or or just like it was like $10 or $20. But these are seniors. They were cool. Like I was actually cool with them and everything. But that's actually how I became cool with them.
Yeah.
It was like on the court, they're trying to bully. They're trying to be like, flex all the seniority, seniority on me and shit. And I was like, nah, it's not like that.
Uh,
That was funny. Just how we used to like laugh at them and everything. We used to beat them, and but that was just that was probably one of the many.
yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, that's a great memory actually, because I was actually like that because I was a former basketball player as well. And when I would just go play pickup with my brothers, I would always tease his friends, and I would be like, "You want to play 1-on-1? You can't beat me. You can't beat me. I'll cross you up."
yeah,
Even though I couldn't dunk, I would say I'll still dunk on them, but oh, and I really couldn't dunk.
I
But
you're getting buckets.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But I also saw on your Instagram, I saw one of your highlight reels, and you were really good on defense. You were quick. You were getting steals. You were blocking shots. So would you say that back in your playing days, you were more so a defensive player or an offensive player?
No, I was definitely two-way because I was really just get it done by any means type of player. That highlight tape, it was like the most boring highlight tape. I feel like yeah, it was like my best ones, but I remember that time I was like going into my senior year. I needed one for the summer. That summer, like that AAU, going into my senior year. End of my junior year, and I just needed something quick, and he just created something. It's like, dang, he missed out the dunks, like
Exactly.
all this stuff. Like it's like, bro, had me doing the same in and out crossovers and stuff the whole time. But yeah, it was cool. It was like doing the middies. The middies were there the whole summer. I remember that.
Mhm.
Like this,
They
I,
were.
I was there the whole time. But yeah, I was definitely a two-way player and a combo guard for sure.
That's good. And did you have an inspiration growing up as far as a basketball player, college, NBA?
Yeah, for sure. Of course. I would say the people I was watching, especially during that time, like Kyrie Irving. Everyone knows like Kyrie, AD, Kobe. Those are some of my favorite players ever. And who else? I would say, and then Paul George.
Oh
Just
yeah, PG.
like play style stuff like that. Like during that time, is like these are some of the players I was influenced by. DeMar DeRozan, because that midi, that midi is always open.
And I don't see too many people in the league that can hit that has a solid jump shot. So
The midi's always open. I always could Dwayne Wade. I always could slash. Like I feel like I can get to the rim almost. I can get to the rim a lot. You know what I'm saying? But the midi, it's like it's not always necessary to have to finish over people all the time or get fouled. When you just know it's just an easy bucket. Let me get back on defense.
yeah.
Or get in the paint. Let me get in the paint. Let me kick it out to the corner, or like let me draw a few defenders and let me kick it out to my shooters. And that's how I was just able to have a good feel for the game. And if I needed to score, I would score. If I needed to play defense, it's kind of how it was.
I love that. And so now I want to touch on AAU a little bit. I know that you played AAU in high school. So were there any cool players or people that you played against, or that you were on the same team with?
Yeah, for sure. I was on the same team as Malik Beasley, and Georgia Stars and AAU. Malik Beasley was playing 1 year older up, so he was playing. He's 1 year younger than me, but he was playing 1 year up, and bro's been nice. Like
Yeah, he's great. I think he played with LeBron, didn't he?
he played with LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been streaky over the last years, but he's a really good shooter. I think he's with Detroit now, I want to say. So he's been to a few teams, like more than a few teams over the last years. But sometimes it's what it takes to really find a really real good system for you. I mean, look at even on the NFL. Look at Baker Mayfield. Like he's been to a few different situations and coaches and stuff like that. And now he found a home within like maybe now he's in year like 6 or 7 or 8, whatever it is. And that's sometimes what it takes. So I think Malik definitely has potential. Has really good potential to be a better player than he's been.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I played with Malik. I played against Jaylen Brown. I played against Jaylen Brown more than probably 4 times, honestly.
Oh my goodness. How was that?
Shit, you only can imagine.
Did he blow your team out every single
No,
time?
no, we beat them. We beat them 2 times.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we beat them 2 times. My senior year, we lost to them by 4 at home. We didn't have nearly as many weapons my senior year too. We lost them only by 4 at home. Then later we went away to Wheeler. He went to Wheeler High School. Later we went to
Okay.
Wheeler. Yeah,
I'm familiar.
we went to Wheeler later, and we got blown out. It was awful.
It was bad.
It was bad. So that was that. But my junior year, we beat them twice. And then Devin Booker. AAU tournament. Yeah, AAU tournament with Georgia Stars. This is actually that same. They should have put it in that highlight tape. The highlight tape. It was the same. The same summer we played against Devin Booker, and we beat him. We beat him in the championship.
Wow. Okay.
It was a tournament. I think like Macon, Georgia, and you know how AAU is. Like they get random people sometimes. Like somebody might be over here in Atlanta, somebody might be in Birmingham or some shit that they might bring in for the weekend. And so they had a few people. One dude who actually is from Alabama who became my teammate at the University of Alabama. At this point, we're in AAU. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward, that became my teammate. And played this team in the championship. That was actually Justin Coleman. Shout out to Justin. And then the team we played in the championship in this tournament that had Jeff Garrett. So shout out to Jeff. Jeff Garrett became my teammate in Bama too, the team that we played against.
Oh my.
And Alabama. Well.
But that's how AAU is, honestly. If you haven't played AAU, then you wouldn't know. But that's definitely how it is.
Crazy. It's
bring random people on teams to play with you, and then next thing you know, they end up being your teammate. So
exactly. So Jeff Garrett, the team we played in the championship, he was on the same team with Devin Booker, and we played them in the championship, and I got good minutes the whole tournament, even though we all we all literally assembled that team, that whole just that, and it was like I was able to show what I could do, and then eventually my minutes is going up because these players like they was top players on my team too. The whole team bottom to up, we all could get buckets, and so eventually I was just like making my showing my value, showing my worth, whatever. And then eventually I was like I was the first man off the bench that championship against Devin Booker's team. And I was hooping. I remember I even gave him a jab step, and he was guarding me, gave him a jab step to the rim and finished.
That's a story you'll tell your kids in the future. Seriously.
Yeah, never remember that shit, but it's like to me, it's like
to you, it's like so big. But now I want to get into the 95 Kid, which is your personal project. And I know that you came out with this project back in 2022, and it's been a whole process since current day, 2024. So talk about your project and the story behind it. How did that come about?
So 95 Kid, that honestly, the whole thing was inspired by just I was watching a lot of like 90s cartoons, anime, and stuff like that, and a lot of my productions already inspired by the 90s. So I was like, let me just come up with something. Let me bring everything together, and let me just draw an inspiration. Like I was obviously born in 95, but did I experience everything? No. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened that year, and just like the landscape of what was going on, like Jordan retired and stuff. It was just so much weird stuff that was going on in the 90s. This crazy stuff, technology, the internet, like all this weird stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
So I just like, let me look into it. Let me just start getting sound bites. Let me start just piecing up everything together. And then I just created the instrumental tape called The 95 Kid. The cover art was inspired by Initial D, which Initial D was a 90s anime, and it's about street racing. And it's, that's what the cover art kind of looks like. If you look up Initial D, it's pretty much like this guy, he's standing next to his car, and that's what I was driving, a Charger. I was driving a white Charger at the time, so it's like, I got some animators to create a pretty much like a cover art that inspired that, and from there it just created a character, the 95 Kid.
I love it.
And then the next one, the Return of the 95 Kid was just a compilation of different stuff like interviews and instrumental tapes and then original music that I got different artists to hop on.
Which was their soundtrack, correct?
That was the return. The Return of the 95 Kid was after that. That was just like a sequel, but it was like an instrumental tape. It had interviews and it had original music. It was just like almost like artisanal, just a random just compilation of different stuff that was on there. And then the most recent one was the 95 Kid soundtrack, and that's just like me taking everything. It's like really just creating a character out of it, which is why I created it, the animation and everything with it.
Yes, and I love that. So that actually goes into my next question. And I wanted to ask you, how was it working with all of those different artists on your soundtrack? And just to name a few, it was Cleopatra Moore, also Nada Wed, one of your group mates that you're also with for Rhodey, and Soli. So how was it just working with a various amount of different people to work with you on the soundtrack, and how did it all come about?
Man, so those are my people. Like I worked with Nada obviously plenty of times, and Nada does his own thing too. Like he produces his own stuff too as well. But like when me or Infused Brunch or myself has something, and Nada will hop on our projects, but he's always creating his own thing too, which is dope as fuck. So Nada he was on board. He pulled up to New York. We recorded School of Harmonic Arts out here in New York in the summer. So shout out to Nada. He killed that. He was on 2 of the tracks on the 95 Kid. Soleil, I met her at Afro Vibes as well on the radio station. And she's been on, I feel like the last 3 or 4 projects that I've dropped in. At this point, it's like, yo, she's part of the movement. Like, she is the movement too. Like, shout out to Soleil. She's from Houston. And then, yeah, H-Town. Sure. Like I said, Houston got so many dope artists. Like, she's fire. Like, Janae's in her own lane and Soleil, but they definitely have a lot of the same type of like just like harmonizations and dope vibes to them, just like their own like energy is fire. And then Cleo, she's out in LA, and that was a connection that I met through rap sessions through Corey Nash and Dude Stacks in LA, who host that event in Houston. I met Cleo through them. And Cleo, like she's talented. She's probably one of the talented female MCs I've worked with as well on the independent level. Cause she'll like rap. She can go bar for bar with almost anyone, and then she'll mess around and just start singing.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, she's dope. We got a few. For me and her, we haven't missed on any of the tracks. Like we have about 3 or 4 tracks. I think that there's one track we got. Dang. Forgot what it was called. It was like one of my first tracks with the people in LA, but you gotta look Cleopatra Moore DJ Gamma Ray rap sessions is a song we did on YouTube, and there's a video for it. It hit like a magazine and everything out in LA. But it was doing some solid numbers for sure.
I love that. And so now I want you to talk about your 3rd installment to the 95 Kid, which is your 95 Kid animation series that just published Friday, actually. So you had a premiere but Friday night in Brooklyn, New York. So just tell me a little bit about that and how that went.
It was really fun. Like it was really fun. Like it was like random, honestly, for me too. The premiere, because shout out to Thanks for Nothing, the Thanks for Nothing team. They're the animators who did the 95 Kid animation. They have pop-up events like often, honestly. They have these often, all over the city, and they had one, so happened to be one on Friday. So I was like, hey, actually they invited me. Hey, you wanna show the 95 Kid? And I was like, yeah, I'm down for sure. I was like, you guys need a DJ? And then he's like, let me get back to you. I don't know. He's like, that's a good idea. And then one thing led to another, and I DJ'd there from 5 to 10 on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, from 5 to 10 on Friday, just held the set down by myself the whole time. I was like, yo, it's fun though. It's like it's crazy how quick it can go though. Like even though 5 hours is a long time, like I could have kept going.
When you're enjoying yourself, that time flies. It flies. So for sure.
That was awesome. At the end, we were able to show it on the TV in the back room. and we had everyone pretty much to stop what they were doing and go to the back and watch the animation, and it was really dope. It was dope because fast forward on Sunday, I got to DJ again. They said I did a good job, and they invited me back to DJ. So I just DJ yesterday from 2 to 7. And when I was there, someone was like, "Yo, a few people were like, you the dude with the animation, blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
And like someone was like, "The 95 kid, right? Like you the 95 kid." I was like,
And how does that feel when people just notice your work and give you the props that you deserve? How does that make you feel?
it feels good. It feels good. I mean, I put a lot of work for sure to get to this point. I mean, I'm not nearly where I want to be, but I have gotten to a point where I can acknowledge and almost sit back and like really reflect. And that hasn't just been with my work, but that's just been with life in general. I even told Kendall, and I had to talk like, dang, like so much time has been going by and time's been flying.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be able to reflect on the accomplishments I've actually been able to get through, you know, good or bad experiences. I'm happy for it, and I'm glad that I'm able to reflect, and that's where I'm at now. It's like, dang, like even some of those old beats, like dang, like I was doing a good job even back then, but I didn't necessarily have the confidence or the experience to really give myself credit then. And so now it does feel good to be able to succeed, to see a lot of success and a lot of the progress just like right in front of my face, and then amongst me, my team, and everyone else, it's dope to see them succeed as well.
I love that. And you're only going to go up from here. You're just beginning, like I said, very, very talented. So I want to talk about the NBA season coming up. Opening night is tomorrow, Tuesday night. I'm so excited. I'm a huge NBA fan. So I just want to pick your brain a little bit and see what you think about this upcoming season. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then we're going to get out of here. So who is your early playoff Western Conference matchup?
People already know what I'm gonna say. Like it's funny. Like my close people, they know I'm gonna say the Mavericks. I'm a Dallas Mavericks. I'm a hardcore Dallas Mavericks fan. Like well, from you know those times that we didn't make the playoffs, from the times that we lost in the finals. You know, times we won in the finals. That time we won in the finals. You know. And then to the time even last year, I was riding with them. I was proud of my team. So I'll put the Mavericks back in the Western Conference Finals, honestly.
Okay, and who do you think will match up against them in the Western Conference Finals?
That's tough. The West is it's such a crazy race.
It is. There's so many talented teams in the West, and then you gotta think about John Morant coming back. He's coming back, so you gotta think about the Suns. They still have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. The Lakers, they're still going to be the Lakers with LeBron, AD.
Yeah.
Can't count out the Nuggets with Jokic. It's just so many good teams. The Timberwolves, even though that they traded Karl Anthony Towns, they still have who's an all-star caliber type of player. Mm-hmm. So who do you think will match up against Dallas if you had to choose? Oh, also the Thunder. You can't count out the Thunder.
Even the Spurs.
The Spurs, yeah.
They got
with CP. CP,
yeah,
Wemby's only going to get better.
Exactly. Having Chris Paul around Wemby is only going to make him better because he sees the floor completely different than any other PG. That's a dream for Wemby to be playing with PG, and vice versa, PG to be playing with Wemby, because that extends his career a few more years. But I would say, you know what? I would say the Wolves might meet us before, though. They might meet us before the Western Conference Finals, or they might meet us there. I don't know. It depends on what the layouts. But that's gonna be tough. Us getting past the Wolves and whatever, we know we're gonna have to get past the Wolves because they want vengeance from last year. So that right there is gonna be tough. But I would say at the end of the day, just the Nuggets are tough. The Nuggets are tough. So I would say the Mavericks and Nuggets, I can see that Western Conference Finals next year.
And if you switch it over to the East, what would you say?
I gotta give it to the Celtics, honestly.
Celtics.
I gotta give it to the Celtics, but there hasn't been a repeat final champion in, I think, since 2017, the Warriors. So because of that, I don't know if my fault. Wasps out of sting me or something. I don't know if I see them repeating. I think that the Mavericks got the pieces they need to win it. I don't know if you've been following them, but they got so many pieces outside just Clay and Quentin Grimes is another sniper in the corner.
Ron said Mavs Nuggets would be tough. Celtics chip though. No, I don't think the Celtics would repeat, Ryan. I just don't think they have it in them, especially because also you have to put into perspective Giannis. He was injured last year. So
And
they didn't give them the Celtics a run for their money how they should have. So with Giannis being healthy, Dame, of course, Dame's going to be Dame. Chris Middleton coming back. He was also injured last year in the playoffs.
yeah,
I think the Bucks can make it out of the East this year.
that was a sleeper for sure. That definitely could happen. I would say the Bucks or the Celtics, but then you can't. I mean, I hate to say it, but you can't really sleep on the Sixers as well, because we don't know what they're gonna do. I would say this year is gonna be the harder path than last year, a harder path than last year for the Celtics to get to the finals or to get to the Eastern Conference. They might not even get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, because of how tough the East is becoming, and then Tyrese Maxey as an emerging star as well is going to be issues. Like it's going to be a lot of issues for the Celtics against the Sixers as well, because
And they always choke in the playoffs. I'm sorry if there are any 76 fans in here, but they can never make it past the second round. But with the addition of Chris Paul, we'll see how that plays out.
my fault.
But yeah, as far as the finals winner, who do you think it'll be?
My fault. I was just getting a call. I had to decline it. My bro was calling me, but I know it's not. He could just text me. I had a.
So as far as your early prediction finals winner, who do you think it'll be?
Mavericks. I gotta go with my Mavericks.
Oh, okay.
I'm riding with my Mavericks. That's it. Like, I finally got a team. I finally got my team I could play with on 2K. Like, it's my team, and they're a fun team to play with on 2K. It's not like me running around with Dirk trying to just post them up on the high post all day doing but Dirk was fine. I was dope with Dirk in 2K. It's just after a while he got hurt, and then we had Luka, and that was it. And now we actually got some real 2K players that you can play.
Yeah. And how City? Were you in Dallas when they made that finals run last year?
I was living in Dallas at the time. Yeah.
So how was the environment just in general? Like how was the city?
It was crazy. I got to see a few games, and I got to see last year before they had Kyrie. I got to see the Christmas game, Luka versus LeBron, and then last year I did get to see Kyrie play, but Luka was not playing. But this was like towards the end, and they played the Warriors too. This is like the last few games to clinch the playoffs, because the West is tough. The West is tough, and a few games. If you lose a few games, that could just ruin everything. So the Warriors had a must win, and obviously the Mavericks had a very crucial win. It was Kyrie, everyone else, and it was like the game where they started gelling as a whole. Like they had the big men going crazy, like Derek Lively and Gafford. It really started just going in, and then PJ Washington. I think PJ Washington had 30, so that was the first game where I was like, yo, because you know how they got acquired to the Mavericks midway through the season, PJ Washington and Gafford. So that was the game.
PJ Washington, he came from the Hornets.
The Hornets, exactly.
With LaMelo, so that was actually a great addition to Dallas. So I think he'll level up his game even more this year alongside Luka and Kyrie.
Exactly. So I see them getting better, but that was what I got to experience that, and I've never seen American Airlines that electric. Because even when I was back in the day in 2005 when I was a kid, it never got that lit. Now it's just straight up it's super electric in there. Ever since Luka has been doing his thing and brought the attraction to the city, and then now that Kyrie's there, it's crazy.
Yes, I love that, and I'm so excited to see what they do in the upcoming season. NBA season actually starts tomorrow, so make sure y'all tune in. And one last thing I want to ask you, are there any recent projects that you'll be coming out with, or are there anything that you'll be looking forward to that you want to let the people know about?
So right now, we're really working on compilations. So right now I'm just trying to work with as many producers and artists and stuff like that. I don't necessarily have a solo project or anything that I'm dropping in the near future. I'm going to be dropping instrumental tapes and stuff like that on YouTube. I'm going to be collaborating. I'm going to do a lot of soundtrack stuff, production, And really, I'm just gonna be just trying to collaborate with as many people. So me personally, I don't have anything coming up. Nada, there could be something popping up soon in the near future, and Jay Garcia as well. But me, I'm just collaborating. I'm trying to see where I could, help in different areas. And me and my boy Pajoli, who was actually a friend from New Jersey, and from back in the day, and he lives out here in Brooklyn, and so he produces, ironically. And so me and him are working on some stuff for sure. And and also me and Step as well, Full Circle is on the way. So I'm definitely working, but nothing too crazy that I can tell you guys about it.
It's okay. It's okay. But I thank you once again for coming on to another episode of Winning Strategy. If you have any shout outs or any last comments, let the people know where they can find you. Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah. Find me on IG at the 95 Kid Tony, and that's Tony with the I. The 95 Kid Tony. That's just my personal IG. This is right here the brand representing me, myself, Not a Word, and Jay Garcia. Shout out to Arle Hooper, obviously. Shout out to Kiera. You're dope. You're definitely dope. And you have a really good knowledge of the game of basketball, obviously, and music. So for sure. Like I'm excited to I'm excited to work, and shout out to Kendall, obviously. Shout out to Ron, and just shout out to the Thanks for Nothing team as well, who allowed me to DJ this past weekend as well at the event. That was awesome. I'm definitely proud that we were able to show the 95 Kid to the dope group of creatives that we were able to.
Yes, and thank you once again. Thank you so much for joining Winning Strategy. Like I said, you are an amazing artist, and I know that you're only going to go up from here. And everybody who doesn't know Toni Frio, now you do. Follow him on all of his Instagram, all of his Twitter, social media pages, and also follow Are They Hooping at ARETHEY Hooping or the ATH B-Ball app. And make sure you follow us on Twitter and TikTok as well. So thank you again, Toni, for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. You have a good rest of your day too.
You too.